Tangipahoa Parish School Board meeting has begun, and tonight I would like to recognize individuals that are going to be involved in the opening of the meeting, and we have a young Marine, Colia Vernon, and if she'll come down front, and a very special young lady, a fourth grade student from Chesbro. And the reason I've asked her, or the way I know her, is I was at the 9/11 ceremony in Amite at the fire station, and this young lady did a patriotic song, and I was just so impressed. So I tried to find out just who she was and where she went to school, and we got that information. And she is Sergeant Marvin Vernon's daughter, and then her mother's here also, and her brother and uncle tonight. And so she's going to lead us in the pledge as well as do a patriotic song. She's going to do two. And then Mr. Vernon is going to speak to us in a few moments. All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance first. And you could turn this way to that's it.
I'll pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight from the ramparts we watched were so gallantly screaming, and the rockets red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-sprinkler banner yet wave, and the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
All right, you may be seated. All right.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd hope for all my life, and I had to start again with my family by my side. I thank my God above to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up and next to you, and the fingers still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from the Detroit down to Houston, and from New York to LA. There's a pride in every American heart, and it's time we must stand up and say, and I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up and next to you, and the fingers still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you so much, Coley. That was beautiful. It was powerful. We really appreciate it. And we would like for your family to stand, your brother, your mother, your father, and your uncle. Would you stand, please, to be recognized? Thank you so much. All right, next item. Roll call, Ms. Jenkins.
Mr. Richards? Present. Mr. Toller? Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan? Here. Mr. Bush?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Simmons?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present.
Consider approval of the board minutes of October 15th, 19. We got something else first, Mr. Bush, before that.
Yes, Mr. President, I hate to interrupt you, but I'll make a motion because there's an item that we need to add to the agenda tonight before we get started. So
All right.
that motion.
Do we have a second?
We're supposed to know what the item is.
Personnel.
Personnel committee.
It's
Oh,
today's
okay.
personnel
Oh.
committee.
Yeah.
Did you second it, Ms. Dominguez?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead. What's the item?
And now
So
the
wait,
item,
the motion is to waive the rules so that we can add an agenda item.
That's right.
So we need to vote on just waiving the rules first.
All right. Any objection to waiving the rules to add the item of the Personnel Committee? All right, passes. Go ahead.
now, the actual item that we need to add tonight is the personnel committee recommendation. So I'll make that in the form of motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duncan, any objection? Motion passes. All right, so we'll add that item. Ready? Okay. All right, item D, consider approval of the board minutes of October 15th, 2019. I hear a motion.
So I'll make a motion.
Ms. Dominguez, a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Westmoreland. Any objection? Motion passes. Next item, awards and recognitions. 2A, recognize the President Student of the Month Award. And I'd like to call up Mr. Jason Aller, the principal at Westside Montessori, and also Ms. Jessica McAllister, as well as Washika Walls.
Good afternoon. How y'all doing? My name is Jessica McAllister. I am a 7th grade ELA teacher at Hammond Westside Montessori, and I've been doing this for 16 years. So I was wanting to bring Washika in. She's one of my students in my homeroom because it's very rare if you all have middle school students or 7th graders in your family, or if you are teachers. It's rare to see the things that she did in class because middle school students are a rare breed. And you have to be a special person to be able to walk in the room every day and look at them because they're a little insane for a while. But once you get to know them, they're basically kids in big bodies. But let me just read. What happened was I nominated Washika through the school board for Student of the Month. So this was the original email that I wrote. I would like to nominate one of my 7th grade students at Hammond Westside Montessori School. Her name is Washika Walls. Today, during a deep class discussion about our guidebook lesson, Washika noticed a student struggling. She asked me if she could sit by the student and help. This is a very rare quality of a preteen. She was respectful enough to raise her hand and ask me if she could help the student. She was compassionate because she cared that one of her peers was struggling. She was great because the concepts that we are covering requires deep understanding of complex informational texts well above her grade level. I realize today that she shows leadership qualities even though she is a shy student. She is a very wise girl, years beyond her own age. I am very proud of her. I hope that the board will recognize her small act of kindness because it speaks volumes.
I think that Ms. McAllister said pretty much it all. We're very fortunate to have children such as Washika on our campus and following under the leadership of teachers like Ms. McAllister. It truly makes it a privilege to go to work every day for fine young people like Washika.
That's why we present this award, okay? These worthy individuals. Washika, this award is the Tangipahoa Parish School System awards the certificate to Washika Walls for being named the President Student of the Month. And here also is a special note from the president of the board, that would be me, and then also $20 just for you. All right? Yeah, all of you. Mr. Moore, oh, he did, I didn't get Mr.
Yeah, I would just like to add that Washika is a member of the same church that I attend. She is a very well-mannered, very respectful member of the children's choir, and she participates in all the church activities that children are involved in. This is Bible Way Church of God in Christ. Yeah, and we love her.
Oh, we'd like to recognize her family. Anybody with a family, please stand. Mom, brother, sister, all right? Anybody else from West Side here that would like to stand that's from the school? Right? All right, then. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item 2B, recognize Sergeant Marvin Vernon with the Young Marines. He's going to come up and speak to us about this group that he's worked with. All right.
Thank you, Sandra. Good afternoon to the board members, and I just want to say to all of you, and the superintendent, we appreciate your servanthood and all that you do in these challenging days that we live in. And I just want to say thanks to all of you. Mrs. Sandra had asked me to come and just address you and give you a little bit of background about the Young Marines. And as you see, my daughter, 9 years old, Coley, she has been in the Young Marines for 1 year. And the Young Marines actually was instrumental in birthing the gift that she has at singing. And she's a shy girl, but as you see tonight, she don't mind opening her mouth. Well, the Young Marines has been around in Tangipahoa Parish. When Danielle was our current sheriff, first was elected, I presented the program to him, and he decided to take advantage of it. So we've had the Young Marines in Tangipahoa Parish since 2006. And the finance support for the Young Marines is shared with the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff Department, your taxpayers' money. Also, the Department of Defense. It's a branch of the Department of Defense through their National Youth Program. And we're honored to have it here in Tangipahoa Parish. And since we've had the Young Marines, we have graduated approximately 700 students. In fact, Mr. Jinko's son, Jace, was, I believe, was the first group. And we just honored to do it, And we start off with kids that 8 years old, both male and female. In fact, Mr. Randy's son
Yes.
is in the Young Marines.
He's 11.
And we, our main focus with these kids is substance reduce, drug demand and reduction. That's our main focus. And in addition to that, we focus on staying in school, education, physical fitness, leadership traits, leadership principles, and just being responsible citizen. Focus a lot on survival skills, and what I consider survival skills in this day and time is a positive mental attitude, respect for themselves and respect for authority. Good morning, thank you, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and the list goes on. So that's our basic effort and direction that we try to take. Currently, we are working out of Amite West Side School right here in Amite. We've been working out of West Side, I believe, for about 4 years, maybe 5. Mrs. Ashley Walker was instrumental in supporting us when she was the administrator there, and we're still there. At one time, we worked out of Independence High School. We worked out of Independence Elementary School. We kind of move around based on the community where we're getting most of the recruits. But we must understand that this program is for all of the kids. If you have a child that is a good kid, we try to make good kids good kids. We're not a place for adjudicated kids. However, we will work with kids that have serious problems, and we interview them, and it's a selection process. And we don't try to feed the kids to the military, none of that. It's just a matter of putting a thumb on them and making sure that they're doing the right thing and that they have some direction. We cannot give our kids too much direction, in my opinion. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Thank you. Well, also, too, what schools it's in right now? It's at Amite?
We're working out of West Side, but we have school kids from all over the parish.
Okay.
All over the parish. It's unlike the program that I do at Ponchatoula.
All right.
That's a totally different program.
Yeah. But at one time, too, didn't you used to bring, to post the colors, you brought the
Yes, the Young
ROTC?
Marines post the colors just as an ROTC unit would do it. However, it takes an advance notice. You need the colors posted to give us a source document and follow it through the Sheriff Department, the Juvenile Division, and we'll fulfill it.
Yeah, that's right then. And you were involved at the alternative school, too, for a while,
Yes.
teaching or, yeah,
Initially.
yeah. Any questions, anyone?
Yeah, I have a couple things. So, I want to thank Ms. Simmons for stealing my thunder, because you were my next phone call to do our program next year when it was my turn, because I went to the graduation ceremony, and you present the colors, and your whole team was dressed up. And Dr. Hurst, this is for you also. I think when we have club day in school, the kids should get to wear their uniform.
Yeah, some of the kids, some of the principals have already endorsed that. The uniform, they wear them on Thursdays. Traditionally, the ROTC units that we have in the parish, they wear their uniform on Thursday.
Right.
And the Young Marines, in some schools, it's just a decision that the principal makes, and we endorse it as long as the kid go out and represent the uniform.
I knew it wasn't school. I knew it wasn't parish-wide, but I think that's a good idea, and also to help promote your program while they're there. Do you speak at these schools to invite you or Sergeant Brazil?
Occasionally we do that. We provide to all of the schools applications, and we really try to focus the junior high and fourth grade and above, because that's where this.
Well, I want you to come back again when the application processes go out, and I think we ought to really stress this, because my son really enjoys it. And we bring him once a month to Amite, but then you do the camping trips, and you do the parades, and you do the community service.
In fact, our next academy is starting on the third week of January 2020.
Yeah, man, let's make a big push to do that.
And we take those kids to 12 weekends of training, and then there's a ceremony where we recognize them. And then after the 12 weeks, the kids, most of them stay in the program for a while, but as the kids grow up, they find other stuff to do.
Obviously.
Football, basketball, band. But the program is open until the kid is 18 years of age.
Let me personally thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I firmly believe in this program. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you want to recognize the new hires, the positions? Okay. All right. Okay, thank you, Sergeant Vernon. The next item is academic update. 3A, get ready for Ready Start with Carmen Bradham.
Good evening. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about our community network. As you know, we serve as the lead agency for early learning. So it's Child Care, Head Start, Public School. They make up our community network. And so we've had this opportunity. As you know, the state allocated additional funding for early education. So part of that funding was for existing community networks to become Ready Start networks. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about what that means. It's a program to increase the quality of our programs that we have or to increase the seats. And there's a focus on the birth to 3 seats because we do a pretty good job of reaching our 4-year-olds and serving most of them. But we fall on the birth to 3 seats. So as you know, last time I was here, I told you we observe infants, toddlers, pre-K, everybody's observed in this, with this program. So this year we're observing all infant classrooms. So what this does is this makes our network, right now we're a community network, this would move us to a Ready Start network. So what that would do, we would analyze our data, we see what our community needs are, and then develop a blueprint for what our needs would be. So we would have to apply, this would be cohort 3, and we have to determine whether we want to apply by April. So the reason it's, well, the Ready Start Network has 4 pillars. The first one is a blueprint. So what that is, we look to see what our needs are. We look at our data, we look at what the workforce needs are. We look to see, are we serving all the children that we need, or do we need to increase the quality with Tier 1 curriculum? Because these child cares are getting Tier 1 curriculum just like the schools are. So the first step is the blueprint. The second step would be to build the coalition. Once you know what you want and where you're going, then you would build a coalition. You would present your plan to the community, to the chambers of commerce, to businesses, just individuals who are interested in early childhood education. The third piece is governance. So it would have its own decision-making body. And then the fourth part is fundraising. So you have your blueprint, you build your community, you have your governing body, and then you fundraise. At this point, we're in the Get Ready phase. That's why it's called Get Ready for Ready Start. We have not applied to be a Ready Start network yet. The state has allocated $25,000 for us to use as a resource to do research, to analyze, to see if a Ready Start network is what our community needs. So right now, other districts are hiring consultants to help with the blueprint, to help with the governance. This does not obligate us to apply for Ready Start, but it helps us to get our blueprint. You need a blueprint no matter what. Where do we see our network 3 to 5 years from now? Do we want to increase seats for 3-year-olds? Do we want to provide more professional development for child care teachers? To increase the quality of what we're offering our early childhood education. Our current community partners are the child care centers, Head Start, Southeastern is one of our partners, Early Steps, our SPED department through Tangipahoa Parish School System, and Volunteers of America. So this group of people met last Friday, and what we did, we had an informational meeting. So I basically did this presentation, but we had a lot of data and things like that. So we brought everybody up to speed on what Ready Start is. Our next meeting is in a few weeks, so we're going to start on our blueprint. So we're going to decide, okay, what is it that Tangipahoa Early Childhood needs, and what are the things that we need to get us there? Once we get our blueprint, then we'll decide, is Ready Start right for us? And what Ready Start does is the state gives $100,000 for us to implement our blueprint. And the expectation of the fundraising is to match that. You don't have to match exactly $100,000, but whatever fundraising you get helps implement that blueprint for early childhood education. So that's where we are now. We're in the blueprint phase. So we'll be analyzing our data. We get a press release tomorrow, just like public schools for our school report cards. Every child care center, type 3 child care center gets a report card. It's called a performance profile. So theirs are coming out tomorrow as well. So it's a big day for early childhood education tomorrow as well. So in a nutshell, we're getting ready for Ready Start to decide whether or not Ready Start is right for the Tangipahoa Parish Early Childhood Community Network. Questions?
Question.
Yes.
Carmen, so this program, does it focus primarily on, like the children from poverty type spots?
They're
like
at-risk children, yes. All of these state funds go to primarily to at-risk students.
So the goal is to increase quality spots for the at-risk
For
children?
at-risk children, yes. The quality of the seats or even increase the number of seats. The group that met last week, we were looking at 3-year-olds because, like I said, we do a pretty good job of reaching our 4-year-olds, but there's a dramatic decrease in the amount of 3-year-olds that are serviced.
And what's the income cutoff for
It
that?
varies, depends on the number of adults in the household. So there's a scale that we use, but it's 200% of the poverty level for whatever your income is, for the
Okay.
number of adults in your house.
And nothing as far as this community network and the funding we're hoping to start getting from the state, none of that would help to increase the number of seats or the affordability of seats for like working class type families that are.
Right now it's for at-risk students, yes. And we do have some Title I seats that can have over-income students in it, but priority is given to at-risk students. So once we fill the at-risk students, and there aren't, if we have remaining seats, students with over-income can.
For pre-K?
For pre-K, right.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? How does the community know about, I mean, we hear it tonight, but how do they know they would be a part of those organizations already?
You mean to
How do they know this exists?
the community network? Well, we have advertisements, mainly when we do the enrollment is when we do our publicizing, and we get, because we take the applications for Child Care, Head Start, everybody. We have an application that we all use. So we use, Facebook, we use Tangy Parents. We have our own Facebook page too, so.
Newspaper too?
Newspapers, we give flyers out to churches, we do all those types of
Yeah.
things. So that's how we get our people to come
Yeah.
apply.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Thank you very much. It was great.
Thank you.
Next item, consider committee reports. 4A, Policy Committee of the Whole, October 15th, 2019. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to accept the,
Mr. Mingus, a motion, and a second by
I'll second it.
Mr. Westmoreland. Any objection? Motion passes. Superintendent's reports, our recommendations. Uh-oh, I skipped it again. Okay, personnel. We want to accept the Personnel Committee report for tonight, which is November the 5th, 2019. And do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept.
By Mr. Mingus and a second by Ms. Janice. Do we have any objections? That motion for personnel passes. Okay,
We need to recognize.
and then we want to recognize some individuals. Ms. Stilley.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. On the Personnel Committee, a meeting that was approved earlier this afternoon, we have a new assistant principal at Sumner Middle School, and we would like to recognize Mr. Chris Fassell and ask him to come up. We'd like to congratulate him on his accomplishments. And while he's making his way to the podium, I would like to say this, that Mr. Fassell, by all 4 of the interview committee members, Mr. Fassell was marked as a standout in the interview process. He has worked as an administrative assistant, of course, a teacher and a coach for many years as well. And so congratulations, and we welcome you as assistant principal at Sumner Middle. Mr. Fassell.
I'd like to thank the board, Ms. Stilley and Ms. Walker for this opportunity.
as a proud alumnus of both Jules Sumner schools, I'm very grateful every day for the opportunity to make a difference at my alma mater and the community I grew up in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Congratulations.
We'd also like your family to stand up and those that are with you tonight to support you. Would all of you stand?
Of course, the most important family member, no offense to all the family members, is the grandson who...
And he's clapping, too.
...is dressed up for Halloween as Boss Baby, for any of you who have watched that movie. But we thank you all for being here to support Mr. Fussell tonight.
Yes, thank you. All right. Did you have anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Journal updates?
Yeah, general updates.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to announce tonight that tomorrow at 12 noon, at high noon, the Louisiana Department of Education will release the 2019 results for our student school performance scores, as well as our district performance scores. Also, they will be releasing our early childhood network ratings as well. And we've had a preliminary look at those things. And once the state releases it publicly, we will release our results. But we were asked to hold those results or any news about that, until after the state officially releases that. So be on the lookout tomorrow afternoon for information and releases about our schools, our 32 schools, 33 schools, their results and our district performance, as well as our early childhood. We're very encouraged and happy about the results that we've seen so far. Thank you.
All right, personal privilege, that would be board members, Mr. Westmoreland.
Simmons, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to I have an announcement to make. And
Sure.
Let Ms. Stilley read it for me.
Sure.
This is my personal privilege.
Okay.
Punchy, 35, Hammond, 6.
That's just what I'm saying.
Is that football?
That goes in the record. Punchy 35, Hammond 6. Thank you, Miss.
Oh.
All right,
Brad, what you think about that?
Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
I hope everybody comes to the game.
Oh, is that your prediction?
That's
your
my
prediction.
Thank you for letting me interrupt. Mr. Westbrook.
All right. That's serious business, huh? All right, now, personal privilege, Mr. Westmoreland.
I'm good.
All right, Mr. Mingus.
Good, thank you.
All right, Mr. Moore.
I'm just glad to say that Randy is consistent. He didn't have anything to say.
Actually, let me bring this up. When Miss Stilley was being interviewed, she was asked during the Ponchatoula Hammond football game, what side would she be on? And your answer was?
The Roger.
In zone.
The Roger.
Good answer, ma'am. Good answer.
Okay. Did Mr. Moore know? That's it for you? What about Mr. Bush? That's it?
I said enough.
That's enough.
Okay.
One thing. I would just like to acknowledge my family, three of my sisters and two of my brother-in-laws are here tonight. Would you guys
All
just
right.
stand and wave? They are awesome and incredibly supportive.
That's great. All right. Awesome. Now, Mr. Bush. You done?
He's done.
Miss Stilley?
I'm good.
Miss Janice?
I just want to thank Superintendent for telling me how to handle this, because we have the Warriors and the Roos Friday night. So I'm going to be in the end zone also, because we took care of the Hawks already.
All right, Mr. Duncan?
I had something.
You can't remember? You're too young for that. Can't remember?
I can't think of it, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, Miss
I would like to say that we're in our third week of Penny Power at TARC, and so far, Miss Stilley has to kiss a pig twice. 2 schools have collected over $3,000, so we're still counting those pennies, so we're going to hold you to the kissing of a pig, but I'm going to make sure and get a cute one for you. It's going to be dressed really cute. But also, I'm with the Louisiana Association of Fairs and Festivals with the Sicilian Festival, and we have our state conference coming up in February, and there's a lot of opportunities for students to get involved with. There's a poster contest, there's an essay contest, and then it's also a scholarship program. So if any of the principals or teachers out there would like to go to the Louisiana Association of Fairs and Festivals website, you can get those applications, and we're also going to send them through the school board. The poster contest is from first grade all the way up till 12th. They can do a poster for any fair or festival in their parish. And then the essay contest is 6th grade through 12th grade, and the theme this year for the essay is Pay It Forward. So I think that would be a good opportunity for teachers to actually talk with their students on the benefits of paying it forward to other people and get into philanthropy and teaching our students how to give back to the communities, because it's a kind of a dying thing. We've been seeing a trend and not so much in fundraising with nonprofit organizations in Hammond. We need to try to get our kids back into giving back to the community. So that would be a good way for you to do that and teach them what philanthropy is all about.
Thank you. Anybody else? We have executive session. We do have a public input when we get back from executive session. Mr. Duncan, you want to read the case?
Yes, move that we enter into executive session to consider the case of Margaret Harvey and Malaya Harvey versus Tangipahoa Parish School System et al.
And there was one other name, Ratliff, isn't it?
Ratliff.
Yeah. All right, is that a motion to go in? Second motion?
Second.
All right. Objection?
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
This is TPSS.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Mingus. Any objection? That motion passes. All right, we have one public input, and that would be Charles Terry concerning the desegregation case.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here once again to bring to the school board's attention concerning the final agreement that has been reached in the DSEG case from the defendants and some of the plaintiffs that have signed off on it. You did not, school board did not, publicly advertise when the meeting was going to be held. It was not done in a timely fashion, so you broke protocol. This final agreement needs to be withdrawn because all the taxpayers of Tangipahoa Parish, not certain families, not the attorneys, not the advisory committee, it is the school board's responsibility to make sure that all concerned citizens have an opportunity to have input on all major concerns concerning our children. A third of our schools are not diversified at all. At least 7 or 8 of them are 75 to 90% black. Judge Rubin in 1968, 1969, 1970, in his ruling stated that if you walk on any school campus in Tangipahoa Parish, you should not be able to say that this is a black school or that this is a white school. This is not about white and black, it's about diversity. And that's where we need to move to. All your final agreement, as I read over all 30 plus pages, is just a bunch of promises, the same thing we've been getting for 54 years. There's nothing in there concrete that I read over. Time and time again, I broke it in part. All I see is promises, nothing concrete. The colonists here in America started the revolution because of no representation, but taxation. And soon as you get ready for a tax, I promise you, you're gonna be ready for public input then. You're going to be from Kentwood all the way to the swamps in Manchac, trying to get people to vote and pass a tax that they had no input on, have no idea how the money's going to be spent. These things need to be changed. We need to come together and work together as one for all the children, not for just elect, select, segregated groups, but for every child, regardless of what their grades are. If we don't come together, the judge, what is the judge supposed to do if we can't talk to each other? If we don't do the things that we say we're going to do? And number one is putting an advertisement in the Daily Star or the Hammond Star, which is the official public newspaper. That final agreement did not make it in that newspaper. So no taxpayers were aware of it. All they got was rumors, and that's why there was no limited amount of public input. This is not the way we do things. If the school board is hoping for the taxpayers to trust them, if you want trust, if you want support, you have to give the taxpayers opportunities to know what's going on and not make deals in back rooms with certain people.
Thank you. All right, that's all we have for tonight. Do we have a motion to adjourn?